is Maria from Crochet A to Z, and welcome to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please push that subscribe button. If you have, I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for being here, and please also push the like button because it does help get the algorithms out there so everyone can find this channel. Well, today it's week number 2 at your own pace, Afghan, and this is the Mile a Minute series. And today we're going to do the offset shell mile a minute. Now, you can make each one of these strips every week and then put them all together. You can just pick and choose the one you want and make them all the same at your own pace mile a minute. That's up to you. You decide how you want to make it. Last week we made this one. This one was our first mile a minute, and this was called the split shell. Today, the offset shell. So let's get started. I'm using an eye hook for all of them. I'm using 4-weight yarn, so I just want to mention that. I'm using 4-weight yarn, and these are all Red Hot Super Saver yarns. I just want to mention that as well. So let's get started. And this color is the Super Saver, and it is pumpkin. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make our slip knot. Once we make our slip knot, we're going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. This is my working chain. These are my chains, and at the very end is your slip knot, not considered a chain. So now we're going to go in the 8th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to make our first double crochet. Once we do that, and I want to mention that this is considered a stitch. Once we do that, we are going to chain 1 and chain 2. Once we do that, we are going to go right back into this stitch right here, and we're going to make 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so I want you to see double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and our 5th double crochet right here. Now my yarn split a little bit, so I want to just go back in there so that it looks neat. Now after we do that, we're going to skip 1, 2, 3 chains, and we're going to put a double crochet right at the end. Now the reason that you put that there, and I'll explain it, is you're going to have 2 ends with what is considered double crochets, because that chain is considered your first double crochet, and then you make your double crochet, chain 2, 5 double crochets, and a double crochet in the last of the chains that you have from the bottom. You skip 3 and make a double crochet. So now after you do that, you're going to chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3. This chain 3 is considered a double crochet. You're going to turn your work. Now I want you to see that when you turn your work, you're going to see, because you're looking at it the opposite way. So you're going to see your double crochets first, and then your chain 2 and your double crochet here. So you're going to go right into this chain space, and you're going to make a double crochet. After you do that, you're going to chain 1, and you're going to chain 2. Once you do that, you're going to go right back in here and make 5 double crochets after your chain 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's what you have. Now, what you're going to do after that is you're going to see your chains that you have here. In this top of this chain, right here, you're going to put a double crochet. And this is why you have your offset. So I want to mention the way you count these is this is row 1, your first offset, and this is row 2, your second offset. So we are going to need to make 80 rows of these offsets. So again, you're going to chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3. You're going to turn your work. That's your first double crochet. So now you're going to look for your first chain 2 spot, which is right here, and it's also got your double crochet. You're going to go in there, and you're going to put 1 double crochet. So this is your offset stitch. You have 1 here and 1 here. They're offset shells, but I want to mention that this is row 1, your first shell, and this is row 2, your second shell. You're going to make 80 of these. So again, we're going to chain 1, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to chain 3. And we're going to turn our work around. Now we're going to go in this spot, and we're going to make a double crochet. Now I want to mention that this is going to pull a little bit, but that's okay because it's going to straighten out. So now once you put your double crochet, you're going to chain 1 and chain 2. And then you're going to put 5 double crochets right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I go slow. You can write it down. You can follow along, whatever is easiest for you. Once you do that, you're going to go into this chain right here, and you're going to go right in here into the top of it, and you're going to make a double crochet. So now we've got row 1, row 2, row 3. It does pucker, but I want you to notice that once you put your, right here, once you do this border, it flattens out beautifully. So now once you do that, you're going to chain 1, you're going to chain 2, and you're going to chain 3. You turn your work. Again, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets. You're going to go into this chain space, and you're going to find that you're going to put your double crochet right there. And that's a chain space and a double crochet. Just want to mention, because you're doing this. You're going to chain 1, you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to put 5 more double crochets. 1, and I'm going to pull my yarn a little bit. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once you do that, you're going to go in the top of this chain space, and you might have to play with this a little bit because it's kind of like, so you might have to play with it so you can see, because this is the back end of it. You can play with it, and you just want to go into that first of the chains of that chain space, and you want to make a double crochet. Now, again, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to turn your work. Here's your double crochets. Here's the space you want to work in. And you're going to put a double crochet. Then you're going to chain 1 and chain 2, and then 5 double crochets right back in that space. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to get these chains, you can turn them around a little bit, play with them, and we're going to put a double crochet in that top of that chain space. Now we're going to count our rows. And I want you to notice, you can see a little puckering. Don't worry about it, because once you put your border, that's going to go away. So we're going to count our rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 rows. It doesn't seem like those are rows, but they are. Each shell, each offset shell is actually a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once you're done, you want 80 of these rows. Now, just to mention, when you have 80 of these, you can put the first one you made from the week last week, after you put your border in, and do the second one, and you can put them together. Or you can make them individually and make your own design. So now let's continue. Once you have 80 rows, we're going to go. Once you have your 80 rows and you're finished, this is what you're going to have. And I want to just, it'll be long, and you'll have a total of 80. Now what's going to happen is you're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I want you to see this. You have 6. Now in the chain space right here, you're going to put a single crochet right here. Then after you make your single crochet, you're going to chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do a double crochet at the chain 3. So we're going to make a double crochet at the chain 1, 2, 3. So we want to make one right here. And that's what it looks like. Now I want you to see the other side. Why you're doing that is it's going to be similar to what the other side looks like. Right there. It's almost similar. So once you're finished and you've done that, again, chain 6, single crochet in this first chain space, chain 3, and then 1 double crochet at the chain 3 space, which is right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fasten off. And we've fastened off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our color, the color that we're going to make our border with. So now let's add our border. You're going to get whatever color that you're using for your border. You can make it in different colors. You can make one uniform color, whatever you want. I did a slip knot, and this is how I'm going to add it. You may add yours a different way. That's up to you. And then you're going to chain 1 and chain 2 and chain 3. And I'm going to get that end, and I'm going to just weave it in, and I'm going to make 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2. Once I do that, where I made my single crochet right here, I'm going to make 3 double crochets in that single crochet stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to go to this other corner, and I'm going to make 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And I want you to notice I've been weaving my end in, but I'll pull that so that it's not, but I weaved my end in over here, and then you can cut it. So 1, 2, and 3. And the yarn keeps splitting, so excuse me. So now once I do the 3, I'm going to chain 1 and chain 2. Now you might say, well, that's not like the other side. It will be once we get to the other end. Once you chain 2, you're going to put 3 more double crochets in this spot right here. But 1, 2, and 3. And we can weave in our ends at the end, or if you want to do it ahead of time, you can do that too. And this is what we have. But it will look uniformed once we work this. But I'll show you. So now what's going to happen is we're going to work in every space. So we did, and you're going to notice once you move this, it's going to square off. So once you do that, you're going to make 3 double crochets in the next open space. 1, 2, and 3. And some of the spaces may not look like that they're right there, but they are. So see where the double crochets are, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have 5. You're going to go right in here and you're going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So there you go. So then you're going to go in this next spot, very obvious to you, and you're going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now the next spot may not be as obvious because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets, and then this. You're going to go in here. So that's why I'm saying some spots may be very obvious and some spots may not. So you're going to put 1, 2, and 3. And what I want to mention is these are going to line up. Once you get this all done, these are going to line up. And what I mean when I say line up, it's going to look like this. And they're going to line up together. So if you put this with this, you can see that there's your ending. And there's one, there's another one here, and there's another double. So they're going to line up with each other for when you put them together, should you use the different ones. If you're only going to make one type and you're going to say, I'm just making my Afghan, an offset Afghan, or you can even make a scarf with this, it's going to line up. If you're saying, but I'm going to do this and the other stitch that we did last week, they're going to line up because you're going to have 80 rows and then you're going to have the same number of spaces. So now we know it's obvious. We've got to go in here and make 3 double crochets. Now again, we're headed to a spot that's not as obvious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets, and then right here is a spot that you need to go into. So we're going to put 3 double crochets. So you've got to look for those open spots. Here's another one. This is easy. We know we're going to go in there. We know we're going to go in here. But there's also one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got to go in here. So we're going to do this all the way till we get almost to the end. And then you can meet me at the almost end. And I'll show you what we do at the other end of this. Again, right here, 3 double crochets. So meet me at the other end. Now we're getting to the end. So we're going to, again, we're going to search for that spot that doesn't look like a spot, but it actually is. And we're going to put our 3 double crochets like we did right along. And I want to show you, we went right along. And then we're going to go right here because that is obvious compared to some that are not. 3 double crochets in each spot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to this corner and we're going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to chain 1, chain 2, and then we're going to put 3 more double crochets right in that spot. That's going to make our corner. And there it is right there. Now, where this is, right here, in this spot here, we're going to make 3 double crochets. And I'm going to just pull this over so it doesn't get in the way. We're going to put 3 double crochets. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into this corner and we're going to put 3 double crochets. I just want to pull that out so it's not split. One, 2, and 3. And they're going to chain 1, chain 2, and put 3 more double crochets right in that spot, because that's going to make the other corner. And I'll show you what we're looking at. So here it is. So when I say they're going to line up, this is how they line up. This is a different one. See, they line up. So now we're going to continue. We're going to look for those unobvious and obvious spots. Here's one that's not obvious. We're going to go in there and put 3 double crochets. Now we're working up the other side. So we did, and I'll pull this out. We did this side, we went around and we're going to the unfinished side. And I want you to see that this was kind of like buckled, but as you put your border on, it flattens everything out. It really comes shaped. Now, here's a spot, very obvious. We're going to put 3 double crochets. Very, very obvious what's going on here. And then we're going to look for the unobvious. Right here, we're going to put 3 double crochets. And we're going to just do this right along until we get to the next corner. And again, obvious. And I'll meet you at the next corner. There we go. See how great it looks? So now, as I said, you're going to go in the obvious place and not the obvious place, because you want to go in the openings, but some of the openings are not as obvious as the others. So this is obvious because it's pretty big, but you have one here where this 5 double crochets are. Then you have right here. So you want to always make sure that you don't miss that spot. And you put 3 double crochets in that spot. And we're going to move right along. This moves pretty quickly. This is a great take-along project because you can make your 80 rows. You can finish it off with your border if you wanted. It just is a really nice take-along project for making the strips. And this is part 2. We did 1 last week. This is part 2. Part 3 will be next week. These can be either, you can work them all to make an Afghan with the different ones that I'm going to be bringing out, or you can pick your favorite and make all of them the same. That's up to you. You can choose 2 or 3. Whatever you want to make, you can make your own design. And we want to work this. And see, when you're looking at this, it doesn't look like, but there it is. And just remember that it's at that 5 double crochets that you had to do, and then the 1 double crochet that you did. So here's another spot, very, very easy to see. And these will line up with all of the ones that you're making, whether you're making all the same design or different ones, they will line up as long as you don't miss a spot. If they don't, then you missed a spot or you added something, and all you have to do is pull it out. That's not a problem. And here we go again. Very obvious that you have to go in here. Let me show you. And very unobvious that you have to go in here. And this moves along pretty easily. You can do this at night while you're watching one of your favorite shows and kind of like just put it in your lap and just go right along. And like I said, it's a fun project. And this is the offset shell mile a minute Afghan project. Every week we'll introduce you to a new one. You can use them all to make one, or you can pick and choose. The length of this is, like I said, we're making 80 rows. You can make it as wide as you want, depending on how many you're going to put together. Now, but I'm going to give you all of them that you can put together, and then if you want to add to them, subtract, whatever you want. Now you made your 3, now we're at this corner. So at this corner, we're going to put 3 double crochets, because what we're going to do is we're going to mimic this side. And then once we put 3 double crochets here, we're going to chain 1 and chain 2, and then we're going to go to the top of this, and we're going to slip stitch this together. And that's your corner. Then once you do that, you're going to, then you can chain 1 and pull that through. And this is your offset mile a minute. And I want to show you the other side as well. And if you put them both together, they coordinate with each other, so they're perfectly coordinated. And when you grab another one, whether it be the same offset stitch, they're going to pair up. If it's the one that we made last week and you want to make the different ones, and I will show you, they will pair up. So you'll be able to put them together and they will pair up. So it depends on what you want to do, how you want to make it. And again, this is, and I'll show you, this is in this color and in this color. And this is the offset shell mile a minute. And this is Maria from Crochet A to Z. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial of the offset shell mile a minute Afghan stitch. Thank you. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Love you all. Bye-bye.